I'm Matt Westmoreland. I'm a 2010 Corps member and history teacher at Carver Early College High School in Southeast Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta. I graduated from Grady High School back in 2006. And one of my most vivid memories of Grady is the teacher who was right next door to my AP Senior English class. I'd walk into class every day and see 15 students, all but one of them white. And next door was a class twice that size and with the opposite racial composition. And the differences between those rooms really struck me. The teacher next door was a TFA Corps member, and she also was one of our mock trial coaches. And one night at practice, she and I started having a conversation about how she had come to Grady. It was the first time I'd ever heard of Teach for America, but it came at a time that I was becoming increasingly passionate about urban education and about the achievement gap I saw between our two classrooms within my school and all across Atlanta. And I thought that Teach for America was a way that I could come back to my hometown and try to close that gap and make a difference. So my skin color is the first thing that, anyone's skin color is the first thing that they're going to notice before how old you are, what your socioeconomic background is, where you went to college. It's there, and there's nothing that you can do to hide it or change it. And so I think it's the first thing that we notice. And it was definitely the first thing that my kids noticed when I walked into my classroom last August and saw 35 kids and all of them were black, and I was the only white person in the room. We were able, from a very early time, to talk comfortably about how we were different races, about how my experience growing up in Atlanta was different than theirs. We grew up on different sides of town. We had different experiences. We went to schools with different student populations of different diversities and backgrounds. But I think the fact that we were just able to jump in and talk about our races openly made it a lot more comfortable. And I think it got us past the divide that a lot of people feel and the discomfort that a lot of people feel when they talk about race early on in our relationship. I think it is absolutely true that a Corps member who shares a race or a socioeconomic background, or when you share similarities with your students, I think it makes it a whole lot easier to connect with them and to invest them in what it is that you're trying to do for them. I think that when you add a race that you might share or a socioeconomic background that you might share, that your student looks at you and sees a college-educated, successful black man or woman who may have come from the same kind of background that they do, which shows them that that's possible and that they can achieve that if they're willing to work with you and to work as hard as you worked. And I see it every day, how the students I teach, I think they look up to a lot of their teachers, but I think they particularly look up to teachers who share a similar background as them. I think that's really important.